Hey all, this is Val here with another Dungeon Hunter Champions video. In today's video, we're going to talk about gear. Alright, just a few things before we jump into gear. One, we are going to try something new. We are going to have the actual in-game audio on. We haven't had this before. So we're going to give it a try. You guys have known me notoriously. I have had problems with audio. So I'm slightly hesitant, but I want to give it a try to give you guys some kind of background, right? Now keep in mind, we are using game audio. So when I'm not clicked on the window, it does go out like it did now because I was playing around with the volume. Hopefully it still sounds good. Now, this is going to be the continuing of the starter series. We're going to talk about gear. We're going to really go into detail. I have done a video previously on this before, but there was actually a request, for me to go and update it and get really more into the nitty-gritty of why I choose the piece of gear, how I keep it, what reasons I keep it for, how does it relate to specific champions. So we're actually going to spend a lot more time in this video going over gear and at least my process for it. So let's just hop right in here. And we will go with everyone's favorite BM and, of course, mine, Alia. So let's start it like this. The reason why we start with skills and gear is because when you're building a team, first you need the champions. Once you have the champions, you need the gear. Once you have the gear and the champions, then you need to put together a cohesive team. So we're starting at the bottom with skills because we have to understand the skills to be able to gear the unit properly. Alright, so with Alia, as we know, we get bonus crit damage on everything. We get bonus to attack speed on almost everything, two of our skills, right? Now, what we don't have, which we will be getting at some point in the future, is we don't have multipliers. We don't know exactly how attack affects this unit. We know for some, but not for all. So what we really have to go with is just what we see here, right? So we know if we look at her, slashes for her first auto attack, right? Her auto attack skill happens automatically, slashes with her blades, damaging enemies every fourth attack. She strikes swiftly with both blades, dealing triple damage. Now, think about this, okay? When you see a auto attack skill like this, this already tells you this unit will benefit from rapid or from attack speed, right? So you can already start picturing how you want to gear this unit. This is also one of the reasons I do read skill descriptions. And as I said in the previous video, going forward, when I read skill descriptions, I will start making gear recommendations based on it. So when you look at this, we already know because every fourth attack, we make attacks happen faster. She will do her swift strike now, which does triple damage more often. So that can be a huge bonus because you are getting triple the damage every fourth attack, which gets guaranteed crit bonus damage. Now you look at this, and at a cursory glance, you say, okay, dude, it's going to be rapid, right? But what you have to take in consideration, this is only one skill. So when you go to your second skill, you see, okay, we get more bonus crit damage, and we get damage based on attack speed, which is already good for this, right? So we're still thinking attack speed because that sounds like a great idea. Then you look at this one, ignores 30% of the enemy's defense, and we still get yet more crit damage. It's like, okay, I need to crit on this unit. All right, and then lastly, you look here, deals 3 times the damage the first time it strikes each target, meaning it's going to hit super hard that very first time. And again, bonus crit damage and bonus attack speed. So now we've changed from rapid, or we could stay in rapid, right? So you could say, because we know we get great bonuses from attack speed, that first attack's going to hit hard, then it's going to buff your first active skill and your third active, if I'm correct. Yes, correct. So we can say rapid, attack speed, crit damage, and then attack. And then we want to get crit rate substats. Now, you're like, Val, but how did you come up with it? It was all based on skills and looking at the benefit you get from using each one. Going with attack speed is going to buff this. Well, not buff it. It's going to make this happen more, right? So you're going to get to that triple damage faster. you're going to do bonus damage here and bonus damage here, which is really good because your first time you hit the first 3 targets, or excuse me, the first time you hit 1 target, when you use this, you're going to do 3 times the damage, which means you're going to do bonus damage and bonus crit damage on top of this because you're double dipping right here. So while you can go rapid though and maximize on that, because in the past, remember guys, I've talked about how the bonus damage from these skills, when it says bonus damage based on attack speed, is different if it had said damage based on attack speed, right? That means it directly scales from it. This just means that it gets bonus damage from it, not that it directly scales from it. In this case, this scales from attack. So then you can say, oh, attack, so I could go brutal. Absolutely, you could go brutal, same build. So you could go brutal, attack speed, crit damage, attack. But again, we're still not capitalizing on this bonus crit damage, right? So the most optimal build for her, what do we have that gives also crit damage? Mortal. So that's why you see a lot of these units of Blade Masters on Mortal, because you're getting bonus crit damage on top of bonus crit damage. And the penultimate build for that is something you go like Mortal, attack speed, crit damage, and then attack. Here's the thing though, but in substats, you get all your crit rate, you get even more crit damage, and you get attack speed. If you build your Alia like that, or any BM that is similar to her, you are going to wreck everything around you. But those are very, very advanced builds. Now, let's talk about your 2-piece set bonus, because here I'm showing you how to determine. Actually, before we go into 2-piece, let's stay on 4-piece. Let's make sure that we're really clear on what we're talking about, right? So let's take a unit like Zevron, right? Another very high-end, very desired unit, right, for his invulnerability. Now, when you look at his stats, let's look at it. So attacks nearby enemies. This is his auto attack, skill 1. Attacks nearby enemies. Every 8th attack is empowered. Removes all debuffs from a single nearby ally. Now, this, again, this says, hey, I could go with attack speed on it, right? Because every 8th attack, you're going to remove all debuffs from one person. So that sounds really good. But now, if you take a look over here, you see that there's healing in this too. But you don't see it here. That is because you are going to pick up your healing on your ultimate. Basically what happens is he uses this ability, he silences, does damage, and then every time you use this, he's going to heal. And this heal is actually significant. You can run him in like SW10 and not even need a healer. Just have your stripper in there and run this guy, and you're going to be good because he heals that much. Now, you do not want to build him rapid, because if you look at it, you say, all right, what's his next one? Jumps to a location, deals damage based on max HP. All right. Then you go here, it says Guardian Angel. All right, there's no damage. This is the invulnerability. Everybody is familiar with that. They know about it. And then we're back here. So we don't see a really big call for going rapid. Even though you have this nice heal here, there really isn't a focus on it. And this guy isn't a damage dealer. His Angelic Flight does hit pretty hard, but you don't have him there to do damage. Any damage he does is gravy, but really you want him to invul. You want him to heal if you're doing him as your solo healer. So what do you need him to do? You need him to live. So you would build him HP and then defense. Now you say, okay, Val, HP sounds good. So we're talking about 4 times vital. No, because again, we're not looking at his whole set. Remember, he is there to heal and then to toss out his invulnerability. So when we want someone to do something specific, we want lower cooldowns. When we want lower cooldowns, we want adept. So that means right now we're looking at an adept HP build. So like adept attack speed HP HP, or adept HP HP HP. Because maybe you're not really worried about this. You're always going to run him with a healer. You don't want him to solo heal in SW10. You already have a solution for that. Maybe you have your Monis built damage and he heals for a ridiculous amount. So it's like, Val, I really don't need that. I'll just slap adept HP HP on him. So that way he's getting up his invulnerability as much as he possibly can. And he gets up his haste buff, which is still going to benefit his skill 1, so I'm really not going to focus on the healing from here. And that is a perfectly valid build. What we have to understand is not only what set best fits that unit, but what role that unit will play in your team. For instance, if I did need this guy to heal and I built him Adept HP, I'm not being optimal. Will it work? Absolutely. But since I have him in the team because I really need his heals, I really need him to carry, then I need to go Adept Attack Speed HP, and then get Attack Speed substats everywhere I can get. Now, still, even if you are building him the HP method because you say, Val, I'm cool, I'm just going to go pure HP. Well, there's still really only 2 HP substats that's going to benefit you, which is HP % and then flat HP. So you still have 2 free slots. On slots where you're actually going to have HP percentage, you have 3 free slots. So what do you put? Well, in that case, still look for attack speed. And then in addition to attack speed, you can look for resistance, because I know resistance sometimes is an overlooked skill. But on a unit where you're primarily depending on it to be alive, to heal, to cleanse, or whatever the support role you want it to fill may be, you don't want it to get CC'd, you don't want it to get silenced, because then it's not doing what you want it to do. So going for resistance as a stat on a support unit is a perfectly valid thing. Resistance is not wasted as a sub stat. Some would argue it is wasted if you're going bracer resistance, and I mean that's really up to the person. If they're in PvP, especially high level, and they feel like they're getting stunned or they feel like their units are getting CC'd too much, then it would be beneficial maybe to swap out this bracer and go for resistance as opposed to HP or defense, whatever survivability stat you had wanted to use. So that's how you have to look at these 4-piece set bonus. You can't just look and say, this is a DPS unit, so I'm going to use Brutal. Or this unit's skill says something about attack speed, so I'm going to use Rapid. No, you actually need to look at the skills and make a determination, 1, of what role you want them to play in your current team. 2, on what gear you have available, right? Because it's everything in the world to say, all right, Val, you told me to go Adept. Attack speed HP because I do want him to heal. I want to have him be my solo healer and my SW10 farm team, but I only have Vital. Well, you have to equip Vital, right? So if you don't have the gear, then you can't make the build. So don't look for builds that are out of your reach at this time. If you're just brand new, which is really who I'm aiming this video at, you're not going to have Adept gear. You're going to have farmable gear out of Adventure Zone. So that's why that is a very important. See what you have. So if we were new, we don't have Adept, we haven't been able to farm SW4, and I will talk about why I said SW4 a little bit more, then you're going to go with probably 2 times Vital, and then, you know, whatever 2-piece you have lying around. Or you might even go 3 times Vital, attack speed, HP if you're going to have him be your main healer. Or if you're just going to have him be tanky, you would be going, you know, 3 times Vital, HP. It just depends on the role you want that unit to serve. And that's really how I gear my units with everything. Like with her, you'll see I have her on Adept Vital because I want her to live and I want her to buff and I want her to heal. So that's why I have her on Adept. The faster she can get that out, the better it's going to be, right? And then you look at the main stats I have, HP, because again, I want her to live. And then you look here, HP, and you look again, accuracy, because she has debuffs that I find are critical and I want to stick. So when you have that, you really need to look at that role and say, how do I make her do what I want her to do? So here we can see we got ongoing damage, we got slows and stuns. So I want the OGD to happen. To me, it's important. Is it critical? It's a little bit critical to me because I sacrificed a bracer slot and survivability for it. Now, to some, they may be, you're crazy, Val. 52% is not enough. Just should have put on an HP and got accuracy and substats. That is a valid build, but remember, you have to work with what you have. And unfortunately, I did not have a good HP bracer for this slot. So I went with accuracy and said, you know what, this would be fine. 52%, if she gets her stun or she gets her OGD off, all the better. But if she doesn't, this is what I have. And going forward, I do want to swap this out. But this is just an example of working with what you have. The same thing goes with building your team. Just a quick detour, I promise, from talking about gear. when you're building your team and someone says this unit is not optimal, get this unit, and you don't have that unit, that is not an optimal build for you. Regardless if it's a farmable unit or not, if you don't have it right at that moment, it doesn't work for you. So go with a different build with units that you actually have. Same thing here in gear. If someone tells you, well, it's not optimal for your Zevron to be on Vital, say absolutely. If you're going to send me your Adept gear so I can equip it to them, I'd be happy to. But as of right now, I haven't been able to get an SW. I only have like 85 on farm. So this is what I have to work with. Can you help me with that? And that's how I approach it when you guys ask me a question. So I want to know what you have, not what everyone's told you what's optimal. That's why if you ask me, like you say, hey, Val, I have this unit and this unit. Who should I get to replace this? Like, you know, should I summon for this unit? Should I summon for this unit? I said, you know what? Let's look at what you have and we'll work from there. Because you could, a lot of times people have had Rhoda and they weren't using it. A lot of times they weren't working on Monis right away when it was one of their best units. And that stuff happens all the time as I talk to more and more people. So if you ever ask me a question, no, I'm going to ask you what you have, not what someone told you you should get. Because that does nothing for you, as you can't specifically pick gear and you cannot specifically summon units. Even in a banner, it is just a boosted chance. You can't go into that banner and say, okay, I'm going to walk out with a Sharma and a Monis, or I'm going to walk out with the Alia and a Zevron. It doesn't work that way, right? You can only work with what you have. Okay, so let's go back into 4. We're not into 2-piece yet, and we're not into farming gear yet. So when you're looking at this, again, look at your skills and then determine what role you want this unit to play. Maybe you could be running her as pure healer. You could care less if the OGD hits. You just need her to be tanky and have a lot of resistance and a lot of defense so she doesn't get stunned. Maybe you use her in PvP. You don't care about the OGD, but you do care about the stun. You want the stun to happen. So then you might focus on accuracy, but for a completely different reason. It's not because of OGD. OGD will be an added bonus, but you really want the stun to happen. So that's why you did it. So think about that. And all those builds, by the way, are valid because it is how you want that unit to perform in your team. It's not Val's team. It's not the guy in Discord who told you you have the wrong units and to build it this way team. It is your team. What is your playstyle? How do you like to do? Do you like to lock people up? Do you like to drop OGD? Again, of course, that's from a PvP perspective. In PvE, it's like, how do you like? I love big crits. That's why most of my big damaging units are all on Mortal Keen. Because I just love to see those numbers go bam, 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 bam. That's how I like to play. Are they always the fastest? Sometimes they're not. Sometimes the team is slower. But I don't care because that's how I want that unit to perform in my team. Remember, this is your game, guys. It's no one else's game. It is yours specifically. You build your team how you see fit. Don't get trapped into a team as XYZ unit, and that's it. Even in my previous videos when I show you SW10, ED10 teams, if you don't like Zircon, come up with an alternative and say, Val, I really like your video. I'm not a fan of Zircon. I just don't like him because he's 2-star. I'm going to put something else in. I'm going to put a magical girl in or whatever you want. Or I'm going to put in Camille, the nature basilisk, because I can get my, or the water, or I have them. I'm saying it all wrong. The light basilisk. Sorry, Camille. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, my boy. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I knew you were the light basilisk. So you can say, I'm going to put in Camille Val. He brings stuns. He brings immunity. And he's just all around a better unit. For me, you know, because I'm pretending to be you, than Zircon. But I appreciate it. And you know what? Camille works great on my team. Thanks for the suggestion for the other units. That is how, honestly, guys, it should go for everybody. Don't just take my recommendations as the gospel. And if you want to take them as the gospel, go ahead. If you like the team because you're more concerned about, hey, I just want to be efficient. I want to be able to do this and I don't want to worry about it. You showed me your team. It works for me. Thanks. I'm not going to modify it. 100% valid because you know why? It is your game. You play it how you want to play. Don't let anyone else tell you differently, right? You have fun with it. So, enough about that, and I really got sidetracked, didn't we? We were supposed to be talking about gear. We kind of were talking about gear, but anyway. So, let's talk about 2-piece sets. Now, you look at this guy here. I went all 2-piece set just because I want this guy to be tanky, tanky, tanky. So, right here you can see I got 1900 defense, blah, 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 everything else, right? So that's why I went with him. So he's kind of a bad example. Okay, here we go. Perfect example. So here you'll see my Manus. You can see that I went Adept Resistance, or Warding, but Warding is Resistance. We know that. So why did Val make that choice, okay? How does Val handle two-piece? Now this I did go over in the previous video where we talked about gear. So what your two-piece set is, it is to get you to your stat goal. It is also to make getting to your stat goal easy. So you're like, Val, what the heck are you talking about, my friend? Aren't those two of the same things? Believe it or not, they are not two of the same thing. And let me explain to you why. So first we're going to take the first scenario. They're there to help to get you to your stat goal, right? Now, what I mean by that, if we take a look at my Ollie, actually, who's a better example, you'll see here that, oh, Ollie is a dumb example. Stupid example. Abort, abort, Ollie, abort, abort, abort. Perfect example. Okay. Perfect example. Let me make sure. Let me make sure a perfect example. Okay. Perfect example. Finally, perfect example was found. Val messed up. Okay. So, as I said in the beginning, and we're leaving that in the video, guys, you're going to see this is what it's like when I'm actually making a video. All right. So, Dr. Synapse. You guys know I love him. You guys, you know, I have nothing but love for this guy. But if you look at my build, right? Remember, the first scenario we're examining is using two-piece to meet a stat goal, right? Okay, so you take a look at him. We're on Adept, Sturdy. But Val, why didn't you go with Keen? Well, as you know, I really, really like Mortal, as you can see. But in my opinion, Mortal is not worth it unless you can, at minimum, get to 75% crit. Meaning you're going to crit 3 out of 4 times with that, right? That's the basic minimum, because with Mortal, if you don't crit, it's worthless. If you have like 200,000 crit damage and 1% crit, right? Maybe you'll get lucky. You'll get that one crit that like one-shots the boss, right? But none of us really are going to achieve that high crit damage. So we're going to have like 150, 200 crit damage with our 1% crit. And one time we'll hit really nice and be like, yeah. And then we'll die because we don't do any damage, right? So, to get there, right, we want high crit rate. And most people say, oh, that's easy, Val. Well, the easy one right there is the key. That's the second scenario where it's to make it easy if I were to use Keen. However, I didn't need to use Keen because I was able to get my crit rate without using it. And so, the Sturdy set helped me get there because I was able to go 58% crit, not have to worry about getting Keen gear, and I was actually able to focus on other substats and other stats that I could boost instead. For instance, here, I was able to get 15% more defense by going Sturdy instead of going crit rate and going over 100%, which does nothing. So I was actually able to get my goal without going Keen, pick up another good stat, because, hey, defense is good. Defense is going to mean your DPS is going to live. It could have been warding here. Warding, still good. You'll still get your desired stats, and you're going to get bonus resistance that you weren't expecting to get. Still good. Because if you went Keen here, there's no point. Like, why do you want over 100% crit? There's 0 point. Put something else in there. Get another basically free stat for you, right? Because this is just helping you get to your stat goal. We got to our 100% crit. Why do I need to go Keen? Like, I mean, if you know, put it in the comments below if you know why you would want over 100% crit or 100% accuracy. Put it in the comments. Maybe I'm missing something. But those skills cap, or those stats cap at 100%, so there's no point. So I might as well go ahead and drop in my Sturdy, pick up that 15% defense, and any other bonus stats I can here. As you see, I picked up attack speed. I picked up 13% attack because I didn't need to get any more crit rate. If you look at this one, I needed a little bit more crit rate here, but I was actually able to get some defense. Like, I probably, if I'm over 100, I don't remember if I am on him. I think when I built him, I actually was over 100%, and I was trying to swap out gear to get less crit rate. If I remember correctly, I think it was the shoulders. Like my shoulders had like 20% crit or something like that. And I was like, well, I'm already over the cap. Let me swap this out and pick something else up. So I was able to pick up a little bit more crit damage. I couldn't get rid of crit because back in the day, all my gear that dropped had crit rate on. It was so beautiful. I've like burned through all that gear though. Like my gear is a mess. But do you see where I'm going with that though? Now that's the first scenario in that it helps you get to your stat goal, right? Now the second scenario is it makes it easier to get to your stat goal. And what that means is, let's say you just have the poopest luck in ED10, SW10. You are not getting crit rate drops. You're just not. They're not happening. Then going, all right, I am going to use Keen because Val said I need 75% crit. I believe Val. Let me slap on Keen. Let me see if that's going to get, maybe I'll go Keen and then crit rate gloves so I can get my 75% crit and I can use my mortal and would be good. And then you do it and it works and you're like, yes, I got there. I had to use Keen. Those are the two different scenarios. One is just helping you get to your stat goal, right? The other is it helps you get to your stat goal. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm saying it that way just to be confusing.
Truly, you have a dizzying intellect.
But they are two different things. They really, really are. They really are. One helps you achieve it. One helps you get to it. And that's really how it is. That's really just how it is. Some people will say it's the same, though some people will not understand my absolute, totally flawless logic. Like it's don't you no. Flawless. Anyway, so that's why I'm having a lot of fun with this video, guys, just so you know. And all this is staying in there. All the missteps, all the mistakes are because this is just my personality. Smitty likes seeing them. For those that don't know, Smitty is one of my mods in Twitch. And he calls them Val moments. He really likes seeing them, so I leave them in the videos when I can. Okay, let's do a quick recap. Number one, got to have the champion, got to have the skills. Next, decide what role you want that champion to play in your group. Once you know that, get your gear, equip, go out, have fun. That's really what it comes down to, right? Because you get your gear, you build your team, you go out there, everybody's got that synergy going because you looked at your skills, you looked at your gear, you understand what role every one of those units plays in your team. And this also helps you with champ selection because once you understand a role a unit is, so you know you got your dominoes all lined up, they're your champions, maybe dominoes is a bad area. You got your soldiers all lined up. You know who's the medic. You know who's your the guy on the walkie-talkie that talks to HQ. You know it. You know the communications guy, whatever they call him. I don't know what they call him. I wasn't in the military, but you understand all the roles. Then you can say, oh, I just pulled champ XYZ. That champ would fit this role perfectly. What happens with a lot of people when they're trying to determine team, and I've noticed that, they'll pull this Nat 5 that doesn't fit in their team because it doesn't perform the role for the unit they want to replace. That is such a trap, guys. I know you see a shiny new Nat 5 and you think, oh, I can replace this unit. No, make sure you look at that role the unit is going to play in your team and then replace the corresponding unit that does the same role. Otherwise, you're gimping yourself, okay? So keep that in mind. I know this is a gear discussion, but this ties into it, right? Because you're talking about team composition at this point, which has a lot to do with the gear you're wearing, which has a lot to do with the role you want the unit to fill. So it's like the circle of teams, pretty much, okay? So we know about gear. Hopefully, I've explained it pretty good. You understand now how Val gears. Now, let's talk. I don't know why I closed that out. What I want to do next is we're going to talk about where I think these gear sets are best used. To do that best, we're going to go to Filter All, and we're going to start right here. So, Vital. Who do I think Vital goes on? Vital goes on anyone. Doesn't matter the role. Having HP is always good. You can always use a Vital 2-piece if you're trying to get to your stat goal or if you're trying to make it easier to get to your stat goal. Easier versus get to. You remember the difference? Easier means you use the set. So in this case, if someone had bonus damage to max HP and you want to get to 90k HP, then you would probably use Vital, okay? Because that's going to make it easier so you get the plus 15% bonus, right? So Vital, anyone. Brutal. Who do you slap brutal on? Brutal is going to be on anyone who does direct damage. What I mean by that, can't throw that on a snake lady. You can, but the bonus increase is just going to be pretty negligible, because their ability comes from doing any other skill which causes OGD to proc on skill 1. The any other skill will benefit from brutal, but I mean, you're going to go from doing 100 damage to 135 damage, which, you know, why? This is meant for like Casey. This is meant for like even on Alias. Let's say you don't have the mortal gear. You can use brutal. You can go attack crit damage attack with crit rate substacks. No problem, because you don't have mortal. And remember what we talked about in the beginning, do builds for gear you actually have or can get. Brutal drops in ED10 where everyone typically starts out. So that's a valid build for her because it's something you can get and it's something you can use. Okay? Rapid. Now, Rapid is very versatile. Rapid, you really need to look at all the skills and understand them. So, for instance, if you've got a support unit, let's say that every 3 attacks it does a strip, or every 4 attacks it does a group cleanse, that starts to sound like, I really like that cleanse. It's so delicious. I don't have to run an immunity unit. Or it could be a DPS unit like Alia. Ooh, every 3rd attack, triple damage plus bonus damage all over the place. Yeah, maybe I'm going to go with that instead of brutal. It just really depends. All those builds are valid, by the way. If you don't have the gear to do brutal and you're going to go rapid, perfect solution. Use rapid, okay? If you don't have the gear, it doesn't matter, guys, right? It doesn't matter. But rapid is that one where it could actually go to support or it could go to DPS, depending on what the skills look like. Remember, again, check the skills to make sure it's going to benefit. Key terms that will say rapid's going to benefit are performs XYZ thing every X amount of attacks. Keep that in mind, every X amount of attacks, not every second. So if it says performs cool thing every 5 seconds, rapid's going to do 0 for you because this is time-based. Using rapid doesn't actually speed up time, it just speeds up your attacks. So that's the key thing. Every X number of attacks means it can benefit from rapid. Also, things to look for rapid is, hey, you know, every attack guaranteed to crit. Because what that means is the more attacks you do, the more times you're going to crit. And this thing's guaranteed to crit. So, hey, this is a candidate for rapid, right? By the way, I'm not saying these things exist. I'm saying these are things to look for because there are some that say every X number attacks guaranteed crit, right? So, hey, rapid again because there's an X number of attacks, right? Good. Keen, again, is a 2-piece and can even be put on a support unit, right? Even though you don't care if it crits. However, let's say you need to get a certain amount of accuracy, right? And you've got a chest slot and a neck slot free. You've got this bomb accuracy gear on Keen. It does have HP substats. It does have defense. But really, you're not going to benefit from the Keen. But if you absolutely need to land those debuffs or the strip, then go with Keen. That's why it can be used on support unit. Is it optimal? No. Would I rather prefer someone use like a vital set or a precise set or a warding or sturdy? Absolutely. But we're going back to rule 1 or 2. If you don't have it, it doesn't do anything for you. If you have the Keen, it's there. Use it. Once you get better, replace it. But Keen is another one. Any 2-piece set, guys, we're going to make it easy. Any 2-piece set works that way. Anyone works that way. If you don't have it, but you have it on another, and your 4 set's already locked in, and the 2-piece set that you're looking to use is in exactly the slots you need, with exactly the stats you want, use it. Doesn't matter what it is. Because if you don't have anything else to put there, you're going to leave it blank. All right? You can go broken. Broken is another option. I'm not a fan of broken, but broken obeys the second rule. Use it to get to your stat goal. If broken 2-piece, not 4-piece, guys. If broken 2-piece gets you to where you need to be, use it. I won't use it. I will figure out a 2-piece. I will go farm, and I have done this for hours to get 1 piece when I have a perfectly valid broken option. because I want to get that secondary bonus, right? I want to get it. I just do. That's just how I play, right? But for you, broken's perfectly valid. Maybe not it's valid for you. But just to give you an assurance, if you're on the fence about is two-piece broken worth it, yes, it is worth it. Okay? Precise can go either way, right? Precise can go support or damage dealer. Just depends on, again, the skills. Mortal. Okay, Mortal can go DPS. But what I want to talk about Mortal is because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that HP abilities, damage based on HP abilities, can crit. I'm not 100% sure. And damage based on defense abilities can crit, I think. If I'm wrong, please leave it in the comments below because I can't remember. I think one of them doesn't crit. Or one, I think. But the reason why this works is because if you have a Mortal and say you've got like a Camille that does defense-based damage, you go Mortal defense, defense, defense. Because it's going to crit. And you're going to do freaking ginormous crits on it, right? So that one can go on any unit that you're counting on to do damage, even if it's HP or defense-based, which may be wrong. Okay? May be wrong. Val's calling himself out. You guys definitely hop in the comments if it's wrong and say, hey, Val, that part of it's wrong. Defense will crit, but HP won't, or HP will crit and defense won't. So, but whichever the way it goes, for the one it will crit on, it's perfectly valid. It's something that can crit, right? You want to, and you're doing damage with it. Maybe not Camille. Maybe your Camille isn't your damage dealer. Maybe he's just there to be a tanking, annoying immunity giver, and that's fine. But if you do want to squeeze some more deeps out of him, you could definitely go Mortal defense, defense, defense. Absolutely. Why not? Why not? Get some crits, man. Maximize that unit. Not only get a tanky unit, but also get someone that's going to do good damage. Because his skill 3 actually does hit pretty hard. And it stuns. Or is it skill 2 that stuns? One of them stuns. One of them stuns. Okay. Let's move on. Sturdy. We've already talked about two-piece. Two pieces can be used anywhere. Dazzling. I see that as a PvP. And anyone can use Dazzling. Doesn't matter. Anyone. Support. Attack, doesn't matter. You can use Dazzling on either one. Vampiric, typically your farmer, not required. I really want them to introduce a unit that eats its own health in a way. Not necessarily like eat as in eat, but uses its health pool as an attack method, right? Maybe it's skill 2 eats health. Maybe it's auto attack and skill 2 eat health. Or maybe it's skill 1 and skill 3 eat health, which would give use to Vampiric. So I hope they introduce a unit like that, but until then, really, I think Baba Kruk is the closest you're going to get to someone like that. The only problem with using her like that is you would, in that case, be cycling your skill 3, which is on a long cooldown. So you would really want to use Adept, and Adept is 4-piece, Vampiric is 4-piece. So you really could use a Vampiric, but it wouldn't matter that much to her because it's on such a long cooldown. I mean, it still would work, right? But honestly, I mean, So really farmer. Adept, anyone. Just anyone. I mean, it doesn't matter. Anyone, man. Just build it appropriately. If it's attack, attack, crit damage, attack. Okay. Hollowed, obviously your co-op unit. Resilient, your co-op. And Withering and Blighted, your co-op. All these, I believe, do not apply to the boss. No, some of them remove. I forget how it goes. One of them doesn't apply stacks. Apply stacks. So it's the attack one, which I think is Withering and Blighted. So I believe those don't apply to the actual co-op boss. They will apply to bosses outside of co-op. I think that was clarified in Discord. But these I haven't used much because I haven't gotten good gear to test it. I apologize, guys. I just haven't. I've tried, but I haven't gotten good gear to be able to tell you 100%. I do know I think the hollowed one is the one where it removes these stacks, which really is only useful in a co-op because this will remove the legendary stacks. The resilient helps you resist it. The withering applies the debuff, and the blighted applies the debuff. And I know one of these two doesn't apply to the co-op boss. I'm not sure which one though. I apologize because again, I haven't got good enough gear to test it to be able to tell you. If you do know, though, please leave a comment down below. That'll really help me as well, so that way I can make sure the right information is getting out to the community. But when I'm unsure, I definitely like to say it in video, because I don't want a newbie to parrot it and take it as gospel. At least they can say, hey, I watched Val's video and I was unsure on this, this, or this, and then they can get the right information. So I never want to say anything is the gospel when I'm not sure. So if you know about these, please comment, because I'm not 100% on them. But that's how I see these breaking down, right? That's how I see the units that you should be using them on and how they should be applied to your team. Okay? So let's go on to the next part of the video on farming all the shenanigans. Okay? So if you're new, you're going to spend a lot of time here. My progression path I recommend, I've already talked about getting adventure gear. So I think you should go as far down as you can. And let's say you can clear all the way up with whatever starter team you have to ED8. But ED8 is such a struggle. ED7 is, you know, it's pretty good, but you might wipe once or twice. But ED6, you're knocking this bad boy out at 100%. Go to your 100% and just sit there and farm, farm, farm until you get the gear you want. I truly believe when you're starting, you should spend a redonkulous amount of time in whichever ED you can clear at 100%. Don't worry about clear time. I know that sounds weird to some of you. Don't worry about it. If it's a 2-minute, 3-minute clear, you auto that one. That's 100%. And you get all the vital gear you can stomach, because you're going to need it. And make sure it has appropriate stats. So like, say you got a bomb Alia, right? And you got brutal coming out the yin yang now. Then make just gear it right. You know, gear a brutal, vital, whatever you want, right? I know I mentioned vital a lot because in the beginning, having that sustainability, the ability to live through that stuff is so key. But if you have another set that fits it better, use it. Okay, follow that rule. Whatever helps get you to your goal, or whatever can help you get to. You see how I keep doing that? I like it. I like it. It's awesome. So I do it. But anyway, so you just want to farm it, right? Until you're blue on. I'm talking. When I say farm, I don't mean you farmed it for a week and you feel like you're done. No, that's not farming, my friend. I'm talking about spending weeks in this. Like, I'm talking 3-4 weeks, like a month solid farming this stuff. They were like, Val, I got this stuff. It's coming out of the nether regions of myself. Then it's all right. Now you're ready to hop over into Steel Widow. But my truest recommendation then is to go there and spend that exact same amount of time in 4. 4 is the money, guys. Live in 4. 4 is easy. You can farm it like it's nothing with whatever you get out of whichever ED you can sustain in. Then you want to farm 4 for the same amount of time until you get adept gear, until you get your mortal gear on every one you want it on. Okay, once you're at that point, after months, because that's probably a good 2 solid months of farming you're doing right there, just in these 2 dungeons, right? Once you're done with that, then make a decision based on your team, based off the pools you made, on are you going to push to ED10 or are you going to push to SW10, right? Then you make that determination and you head and you follow that path. And that's really it. That's how you do it. That's why at the beginning I said SW4, right? Because SW4 for me is just a sweet spot for noobs. It's not too hard, not too difficult, and you got a good chance of getting decent loot. Don't get me wrong. You're going to be settling for 4 and 5-star adept pieces, or 4-star pieces of adept in the beginning. No doubts, it is okay. Adept is just that good where you're going to take off whatever other piece you had and put on adept. It is honestly that good, guys. I'm not kidding. Where you're going to be running 4-star adept stuff, and you're not going to see that go away until you're successfully clearing SW10, right? And then you can start tossing your 4-star. But even when you're in here with your 3-minute, 3.5-minute clears, 2-minute, 50-second clears, even when you're in here, you're still going to be keeping 4-star adept gear. Is just how it goes. That is how strong adept is, guys. It is super, super, super strong. All right, so hopefully I covered gear and I helped people get a better understanding of actually how to gear, how I gear my units, what I look at, how you should look at it. And again, just keep in mind, guys, it is get the champ, understand the skills, determine that champ's role in the team, get gear that complements the role you want it to play. Later on, once you have that team, it's rock solid, and you start doing more pools because you're farming more, you're getting more discs, or maybe you're pay to win, so you're buying more because now you feel comfortable buying because you understand what you're looking for, and you get that new shiny Nat 5 Now you know to say, okay, what role is this Nat 5? What gear do I have for it in that role? And then what unit is it going to replace that performs that same role in my team? All right. Hopefully this all helped you guys out. If it didn't, then you're all crazy and I'm the best there ever was and you're wrong. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If it didn't help you out, please leave a comment on an area you might be unclear of or you feel that I was unclear on, which really didn't help you because you're like, well, my head was spinning. I didn't understand XYZ. I will definitely hop into the comments and explain XYZ for you. As always, thank you for watching, and all you dudes and dudettes out there, stay frosty.